In this chapter, we're going to be taking a look at how to create links in your documents. And this is the hypertext part of the HTML acronym that we were talking about before. I've already got the Chapter 3 folder open, and just so we can get started, I'm going to open up the tryout links HTML file. And like usual, let's open it up in our text application as well. And now we can take a look at adding links. I'm sure that you've clicked on a lot of links as you browse the web, so you know exactly what we're talking about. Links are really what make web pages so special. Having the ability to link information right from the middle of the document turns HTML browsing into a kind of wandering experience that allows viewers to browse to whatever information interests them. In our HTML documents, links are created by an anchor tag, and that's represented just by the letter A. Anchor tags have a start and an end, just like other tags, and you can use it to link any item on your page out to a web address. Now, in the first paragraph, we're going to link out to the Infinite Skills digital downloads page. So if I wanted to create an anchor tag right in front of the word digital, I'd place my cursor there and start out my anchor tag with an A. Now, anchor tags are a little bit different than the other tags that we've been looking at so far in that they require an attribute in order to work. For a link, the attribute we're looking for is href. And just like other attributes, we're going to have an equal sign and then some quotes, which will have an address inside of it. Now, to finish out the syntax, I'll close the beginning anchor tag, and we'll go down to the end of the line here, and I'll add an end anchor tag with a /a. Now, of course, we need an address to go to. Every single page out on the web has an address, so an easy way to get those addresses is just go to the web itself. I'm going to go back out to our browser, and I'm going to browse out to the Infinite Skills website. And since we're looking for the digital downloads page, I'll click on Training Available via Download, and this is the page we're looking for. Of course, here's the address for that page right up here at the top. I'll just select it and copy it out of the address bar. We'll go back over to our document, and I'm going to place it right inside those quotes. Notice when I paste it in, it has a scheme located at the beginning of the address for me. Typically, web page addresses will start off with http://. That's the scheme that this server is going to use to find the right page. This address has several parts to it. The scheme at the beginning, the domain name of the company that we're getting the page from, and then the actual path down to the file, including the file name itself. That's really all you need to create a link. So while we have this one done, let's save our file, and let's go back to the browser and refresh our page, and we'll try it out. And here we can see that our link truly does look like a link. First of all, most HTML browsers will render a link as blue text with an underline beneath it. Now, don't worry if your text appears purple to you. That just means your browser is keeping track of pages that you've already visited. And purple is the default color for a visited page, whereas blue is the default color for a link and an unvisited page. Now, let me just get rid of the tab with the website so we don't have any confusion. And of course, I want to click on this link to try it out. And you can see that as soon as I click it, it takes me right to the exact same page we were on before, just like every other link that you've used. Now, let me just click the back button to go back to our page that we were working on. And I'll open back up our HTML document so we can talk about absolute links. Now, of course, our example so far of the Infinite Skills webpage is using an absolute link. And what that means is you're typing in the entire address for that page. As I mentioned, addresses have multiple parts: the scheme, the domain, and the path to the file. And you might even see a few different schemes if you're linking out to different types of things on the web. One thing that you might see on a secure shopping site is they'll use HTTPS, and that's short for a secure connection or a secure hypertext transfer protocol. Sometimes when we're linking to files, we'll just use an FTP://, and that stands for File Transfer Protocol for specifically downloading things. And as we saw before, when we're working on our own documents, we see a file scheme being used, but we won't use those in links because we won't really ever want anyone linking out to files on our hard drive. Now, there is one more part to our anchor tags that's important, and it's another attribute. We can use the target attribute to target where we want our link to go. So let's try that out. I'm going to go down to the end of our tag, And remember, if we're using multiple attributes, we simply need a space in between them, and we don't really have to worry about the order they're in either. The attribute's name is target, so I'll type target equals, and we'll use quotes like before. And of course, there are some specific target values we can use. The two most interesting to you are self and blank, so let's try those out. First of all, to type it correctly, you're going to type underscore self. I'll close the quotes, and we've got our attribute completed. Now let me save our page, and we'll go out and test it. Now with the self value, we're not going to see much different, because it's actually the default value for target. When we click on a link, the target will appear in the same page that we were working from. And that's of course why we had to hit the back button to get back to the page we were on. Now let's go try out one that's more interesting. The value you'll use most often with the target attribute will be underscore blank. And what this refers to is a blank web page or a brand new tab. Now again, I'll save my changes with the target. We'll go back to our page and we'll refresh. And I'll click on the link again. Now, notice up at the top, our Tryout Links page is still here in its original tab, and this time the link has taken us out to a brand new tab and loaded the page into that one. Very commonly, web page developers will use the self or no target at all when linking to your own pages, and when you link out of your site to someone else's site, you can choose to use a blank target, and that way it makes it easier for your user to browse on this page and still get back to the page on your site they started from.